Hi, my name is Alyssa Hall, and I'm here to welcome you to today's dance class. Our class is meant for grade levels 4th and up. Today's class is a little different than the others we've focused on in this series. We've been looking a lot at technique, which is to say the right or wrong way to do a step, a movement, a shape, a rhythm. All of these are things we've explored so far for our series. But there's more to dance than just technique. And that concept is not something that every dancer even realizes through the course of their career. So please pay attention now. It's so important. Perfection is cold. People who look to be perfect on stage and have perfect technique are often very hard for the audience to relate to. They can become so hung up on everything being just right that the performer forgets the main point of performing, which is to connect with your audience. The ways that we learn to connect with our audience is to find our commonalities, which is to say, what do we share? Emotions are something we all share. We've all felt the highs and lows of our emotional life, and we can use those experiences to fuel our dance and to give it character. Not just creating a character, but finding the spirit of a dance. To find the spirit of a dance requires that you listen closely to the music. What is the composer trying to say? What is the musician or musicians? What are they saying with this music as they perform it? Let that inspire you. One technique to help you find your emotions and convey them on stage is to use your emotional core. The emotional core of the body is right here in the center of the body, at the heart level. It includes the sternum and the clavicle. And we're going to talk a lot about how to use that to help convey some emotions when you perform. But it's not just about closing and opening your middle in order to convey an emotion. It also requires breath. Breath fuels your body for dance. You absolutely have to have lots of oxygen for your muscles to keep up with the demands of the dance itself. But that's not the only thing that your breathing can help with. It can help you connect to your music and your fellow dancers in a way that's completely unspoken and instinctual. Breathing patterns themselves will look at inhaling, exhaling, watching our sternum and our clavicle, and feeling through some of the emotions that might arise on their own instead of us telling them what to be. For the last part of our class, we're going to practice improv or improvisation. What does that mean? Improvisation or improv is any time that you are dancing freestyle. So if there's no set choreography or your teacher hasn't given you certain steps, what do you do if you want to dance? You just make it up, right? That's improv. And the fun thing with improv is it can help you find new and different movement. It might seem like, why do we do this if there's no technique and there's no set style and we're just goofing around and making things up? That doesn't feel like real dance, Alyssa. Set aside any of those concerns. In order to improv, you have to learn to get back to the playing that we all used to do when we were young. So that will be the last part of our lesson. For today's lesson, like many others, all you're going to need are some clothes that you can move in. You're welcome to dance in your shoes, your socks, or barefoot like me. And for today, you might want to have a chair handy when we get to that improv section, and I'll tell you why a lot more. Let's get started. Let's start by looking at your emotional core and how to use that to express emotions to your audience. Your emotional core, just like we said, is right there at the heart level. So it includes your sternum, which is the bone, the breastbone that you feel in your chest, and it includes the clavicle. That's the bones that are right up here at the top of your chest, right at the front of the shoulders. This area in and of itself is very expressive and dynamic. What I mean by that is it can move. As you see me doing this, just begin to feel what it feels like to move in and out with this area. All we're really doing without thinking about emotion right now is a warm-up. We're beginning to warm up our emotional core by using those muscles. But the muscles themselves we begin to not think about when we're really focused on what we're conveying. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start with my hands on my emotional core. You can do the same. You can keep your eyes open or closed. And as you're taking a nice deep breath in, you can feel your chest rise. It goes straight up. You can also feel that your clavicle is open. It opens up. Everything is lifted and high. And if you look at it from the side, even though I'm exhaling by talking to you, I've kept my chest way up here. If you look at someone who has their chest up here and is completely exposed, what kind of emotion does this look like? Do I look confident or do I look scared right now? There's an emotion right there. That's what we can go to as we begin to open. But what if we close our emotional core by exhaling? So let's breathe in. Hands on your chest, exhale. All the way. At the bottom of the exhalation, the shoulders drop, the chest caves in, and our gaze begins to come down. Just like we lifted with the inhale, with the exhale, we naturally begin to drop our gaze. What does this position, if I hold on to it, and the gaze, if I do nothing else, how do I look right now? Do I look that confident? What if I use a confident voice? It doesn't work, does it? Looks kind of shy, looks sad, looks closed in. There are times in our lives when we're feeling very open and connected with other people, and there are times when we feel very closed in and very private and not as connected. Most often when we're feeling happy and confident, that is when you want to use your emotional core by expanding. Lift the sternum and expand through the clavicle. Felt this action, right? Expansive. But if you're looking to convey something sad, your body will automatically begin to close into itself. Now don't drop completely, then your audience can't see you. But if I keep myself open to my audience and you can see me, even if I'm closed off, my posture begins to look like I'm scared, I'm cold, I'm frightened. Something might be wrong. These are different ways we use gesture and our emotional core to express emotion. Let's put it to some music, and we're going to pick some really big emotions to just express. You might want to just stand in one place as you do these. You might want to move around. There's no wrong answer. There's nothing you can do wrong today. And I hope you come back to this class so you can practice new ways to try these emotions as well. Nice deep breath. Exhale. Find a neutral place for your body and your emotions before you create. Nice breath in. Exhale. Now, on this next inhalation, as your breath expands your chest, what emotion does it feel like? Breathe in and listen. And keeping your chest there, do you want to move? I feel happy when I go through this moment right now. My face doesn't just smile. My movement is smooth and connected. And my chest is up and lifted. Keep moving. Let's move in space. Take a deep breath. Spread your legs if you like. Inhale. And try to work to keep that chest open. The music's changing. Let's come back to center. Take a breath and reset. Let's fuel the next emotion as we listen to our music. We felt the expansion of the inhale. What about the contraction of the exhale? From that deep breath in, take a slow breath out. Feel your chest begin to move. And now as you drop into this place, let it become sadder for you. You might remember something that you lost long ago. You might remember someone who hurt your feelings. You might remember when you tried, but you felt like you failed. Keep moving with me. Let your arms move. If your legs want to move, they can. There are no wrong answers, but feel that closed feeling. What emotions it brings for you. Breathe. Music's beginning to change again. Let's listen to it and see where we go next. Take a breath. You can place your hands on your center if you like. Deep breath in and out. In and out. Come back to neutral. Find that place which is no emotion. It's just resting between emotions. This time, I want to practice a transition. Let's start with one emotion and then end with another. For our dance phrase, it can be as long or as short as you want. You might already be dancing for me right now while I'm talking. I welcome your dance. Let's move together. We're going to go from sadness to joy. Take a breath to reset to neutral. And let yourself begin to slide into the sad, whatever it could be. And whatever that sad is experiencing like, begin to change it. Maybe your story is about becoming stronger. Look at my chest. Look at my gaze. What does this look like? What does this look like? Keep moving. Center and find an end for your dance. Nice. That was your very first improv. You might not have known it, but that was our very first improv today. Improv is any time we make it up as we go. And that was an emotional exercise. Emotional exercises are something they do a lot when you take an acting class. But as dancers, we have a tendency to forget that it takes the emotion to fuel the passion of our dance. It's not enough that we feel it inside ourselves. We have to reach our audience and help them to feel it as well. So remember your emotional core as we move forward into our next exercise. For this one, you might want to take a moment to find a spot to sit down with me on the floor. For this next portion, we're going to be talking about breathing. Now I know your first thought is, Alyssa, I've been breathing my entire life. I think I'm pretty good at it by now. But bear with me. We're going to look at how you can use your breath just like we just were, but to continue to fuel your emotions. You might remember in our last exercise, we were just saying, inhale, feel the expansion. Exhale, feel the contraction of your center, your emotional core. There was another dancer who spent her entire career exploring just this idea. Martha Graham created a technique which was based on the inhalation, which she called the release, and the exhalation, which she called the contraction. These moments fueled all the things that she did, all the shapes that we see that her dances made. They're all based on these two opposites that happen in the body. And she came to this theory by watching the way the body moves naturally. Of all the lessons, today and this moment is going to feel the least like dance, but is going to be probably one of the most important things that I can give you, which is how to use your breath. Yes, oxygen fuels your muscles and you need it to be able to move. But oxygen and the expression of that is something that will connect dynamically with your audience as well. We're going to start some music. I hope you're sitting down in a comfortable space. You can leave your eyes open or shut as you listen to me. And we're going to begin to breathe naturally before we start some of our breath exercises. You can take any cross-legged position on the floor that you like. And as comfortable, your hands can rest on your knees or wherever they like. Begin to quiet your mind and focus your attention only on your breath and the sound of the music. Take a few breaths naturally, without thinking about anything. Deep breathing feels very relaxing, and it will definitely help you for your mind when you need moments to relax before performing. So breathing can help you even before you hit the stage. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Don't be afraid to let your breath make a sound. Sometimes when we're in class, we don't want that sound. We don't want other people to hear us breathe. We're so quiet. We're so polite. Make noise with your breath. Let your fellow dancers hear your breath. Breathing in. Feel the expansion of the chest. That's the high release. And exhale slowly, letting the chest concave. Let your gaze come down. Let your body relax. Let it begin to curl into itself. This is the contraction. When Martha Graham used the contraction, she expressed grief, because when we are crying, we naturally hold ourselves in a tight contraction. We often begin to rock. Rocking is a form that gives us safety. If you find yourself beginning to go into these emotional states and beginning to move naturally on your own, go with it. Follow these today. Follow them every day. Some dancers will never hear that from inside themselves. Go looking for it. Breathe in and out. Contract. As you begin to breathe, let those breaths take on their own stories. Every breath. Inhale. This is a story of how I woke up and opened my eyes, and I exhaled and relaxed. What story is your breath telling me right now? Take a deep breath in. Use your face. Express to me how you feel. Show the camera just like you're looking at me. What if you're sad, though? Can you find that place? Take a breath. Let the contraction follow you into the sadness. Sadness can be a difficult emotion to portray. Sadness can pull the energy into yourself. It can be very selfish. Finding a way to express sadness, but connecting with your audience is the real magic. So as you become sad and your gaze comes in and you contract, don't let your energy become so small that it doesn't reach out. Let's try all of that with just our breath. Breathe in, expand. Exhale, contract. Every breath tells a new story. Think of your story. The inhalation, tell me your story. Are you going to begin to use your arms? Do your arms move different when they're expanded? And if I do that exact move when my chest is contracted, it's hard. That's called a limitation, which we'll be looking at next. When we have our gaze up, my clavicle is expanded. My sternum is up, even if I am not up. But if I take the same spot and bring it in. What about a gesture like this? Immediately that means something to us as humans. What is my shape of my chest? It's closed, it's quiet. It doesn't always have to be grief. When you're in a closed position, it might be quietude, it might be reflection. Gesture, the things we do, can tell a story. But what we look for as humans is the emotion behind the story, because that's what we can understand best and connect to each other best. And that's the best gift that we can give when we're dancers, is to create that emotion for people while they watch us and to inspire them. Okay, let's get going on some active games now. Thank you for spending this quiet time with me, but I'm ready to stand up and move. Let's get doing that. And by the way, now's a good time to go find that chair that I was telling you about earlier. For this last section today, we're going to take a look at improv and improv games. Now, improvisation, we've kind of been doing that for this entire class so far, because we've been making up movement and trying different things, thinking of emotions that we want to express on the spot, and then creating some kind of movement to go with that emotion. But why do you have a game? Well, the games themselves, they can be something new and different for a dancer or a choreographer to get them to find new material. What I mean by that, as a dancer, I might have certain steps or styles that I love dancing. I always love to use my arms. I think they're so lovely when I dance. But maybe my choreographer wants to use something else. She might give me an improv and say, dance with no arms. What does that feel like? Now my choreographer has given me what's called a limitation. Then all of a sudden I have to figure out, okay, don't use my arms. If I use my leg, if I use my shoulder, that's a limitation game. Other games that we're going to play are mirroring. That's pretty obvious. You'll mirror me for that game coming up. We're going to do a contact improv. My chair here is going to be my partner. Hopefully you have a chair for your partner too. And then we're going to do levels and limits. You just saw an example of what a limit is. It's where you give someone a limitation while they try to explore. And levels refers to the level that we perform at. You can be up or in the air, obviously only for a second. You can be standing at mid-level, or the bottom level, being on the floor, is another choice. So we're going to work on a levels game as well. But let's start today with a mirroring game. I'm going to put on some music, and I'm going to listen to the music as well. Important on this section even more is that we listen to the music and take inspiration. Don't just react. Don't just start doing, hey, Alyssa said make it up, do it. Listen first. Take that music in and then translate it to you in your body. What does it feel like? What would it look like? What emotion are you showing me? Let's start with that mirroring. Okay. I'm going to have my feet hip width apart underneath me. Roll my shoulders up, back, and down just to kind of release any tension and shake it all out. And now my music's coming up. I'm going to listen. Mirror me. Can you mirror my head as well as my arms? Are you keeping up? Mirroring can be so much fun to practice with a partner. And you can take turns on who gets to be the leader and who gets to follow. For this one, you have to follow me. But in a real improv, I could then follow you. Why do we do this, Alyssa? Well, it focuses your attention. When you're doing mirroring with a group or a singular partner, suddenly you become very, very intensely focused on that person. Every movement. Are they going fast? Do you have to catch up with them? Or do they move slow so that you can go with them? These are all interesting things that you can discover when you're doing a mirroring exercise. But mirroring's just one game. And I hope you can take it and play it with some of your friends or anyone who's at home with you right now. It's fun. Contact improv is a little different. Contact improv is what it sounds like. We're going to have contact with another person. Usually we would have a partner, but our chair will be our partner for this one. And for contact improv, you will often have the teacher tell you your limit. They might say, always keep your elbow touching. And so that no matter what I do, as I begin to move, am I dancing or am I just moving? Can I keep an elbow in contact? Where do I go in space in order to solve a problem? Like keeping my elbows on my partner. I'm now on a lower level. But what if my teacher says, okay, new limit, you can't be on the floor. Okay, now I have a limit and I have a parameter. Keep my elbows contacted. Are you doing it? I hope you're doing this with me. And I can't get on the floor. Don't stay there. Next choice. Don't be satisfied. Keep moving. New improv. Stop. Shake it all up. New contact. What should we make this one? We did our elbow. What if we did something more challenging? What if we have to always have our knee on our partner? What would that begin to look like? If I'm moving in space. Sometimes when you're doing an improv, you're also, oh, my knee came off, disconnected. I broke my own rule. Keep working. Show me your levels. Move. Knee. Can you move around? Can you go up? My knee. What can you do? These are all crazy answers today. There's no wrong answer. You can set your own contact improv game. It could be with a chair. It's much more fun when you have a person, because one of the fun things with contact improv is you will often begin to hook up arms or legs with that other person, and you can begin to take their weight and have them on top of you, or you lean on top of them. And that can be extremely emotional, connecting to your partner. And more than anything, it teaches you about how to relate to another dancer in space. And that's something they almost never talk about in a classroom. We talk about our tanda, we talk about our arms and what we're supposed to do and what the steps are going to be. But learning to dance together is another skill. Okay. For our next game, we're going to look at levels. That was our contact improv game, so I'm going to give my chair a little push and give myself some room. Levels means just what we were saying. You can be on your top level in the air. Obviously, you can't sustain that for very long. There's the level of standing or height. There's a lower level if I use the floor. And then there's the most bottom level, which is all the way down on the floor. Now, each one of these levels, they can also mean something. Your choreographer might be talking about something in their dance, and being down on the ground and connecting to the earth is part of what they're trying to tell their story about. So being able to be down and feeling comfortable on your lowest level is another tricky thing. If you haven't spent much time here, let's put the music on, and we're going to practice going up and down and in between our levels. You can follow me, or you can choose to go in a new direction in your own level. Let's start on the bottom level of the floor since I'm down here. Again, listen. There's some rhythm. I feel like moving. I'm on the ground. I'm using my lid level. How about you guys? That's low. Can I use my levels and get myself up? I'm gonna get up to my next level. You can stay on the floor if you're enjoying it. I'm gonna get up. What's my story? My character has just joined a big event. And they're friends. And I love it. Where's my gaze as I start moving? Where's my chest? My mouth is smiling, so you think I'm happy. But what else in my body is telling you that I'm happy? What's the quality of the movement? It's following the quality of the music. I'm not creating a character. I'm creating a mood. What mood are you in? Down, up, all the way up, go down, to the ground, bring it up, 5, 6, 7, jump, woo, keep moving. Maybe I want to jam a little bit. There are no wrong answers. Give yourself permission. Sometimes we just want to express joy. But what if we want to change? What if I want to go against the music? One choice I'm using is to go slower. Instead of following the rhythm, I'm going against it. Smooth. Resist. 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 Yeah? Down. Up. All the way out. Back and forth. What are you doing? Dance with me. Let's have fun this last moment of class. And freestyle. In dance, there's not enough permission to have fun. Yes, and that is the essential message of every improv class that we ever take as actors. Yes, and that means I accept what you're doing and I'm going to add to it. I'm not going to fight your choice. I'm going to love it. I love your choice. Keep making them. Breathe. And back. And side. And other side. You can follow me or do your own. That was it. Great job. That's it for today's lesson. I told you it was going to be very different today, but I hope this gives you a different idea of what it means to be a dancer. Being a dancer isn't just about showing up for class, putting on the right pairs of shoes, learning all the perfect steps. It's about giving yourself and being an artist, and that's where the true magic happens. We had a chance to take a look at how your emotions can fuel your dance or give it more character and make it more engaging for your audience. We also talked about your breath and how you can use your breath patterns to also express emotions and to connect and fuel your dance with passion and energy as well. The last thing we did was practice some improv games, and I hope you'll continue practicing those as well. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you for the next class.